Hello, everyone. This is Meir with clients and staff sitting and reflecting last week events. It's interesting. I'm working with a wonderful gentleman who came to me from far away. Well, if you think that England is far away, from San Francisco, and nobody understands his problems. And in fact, he was with the best optometrists and ophthalmologists in the world. They can't understand how he sees as well as he sees. And he sees at least 60% of normal vision. At the same time, there's so many areas in his retina which appear to be destroyed from his diabetes. And they don't understand how come he does not have good visual orientation. So we worked. And I worked with him very, very heavily on visual orientation. In fact, I want to tell you all that in October, I'm going to be in Portugal for 2 seminars. One for everyone, like I normally do, and one for 15 legally blind people. And even though optometrists and ophthalmologists dismissed this wonderful man and said, well, we don't understand what your problem is, he's actually legally blind, in spite of 60% vision, which is far from being legally blind, because he cannot actually have a visual concept. I'm not going to bore you with many details of how you build a visual concept. It's a beautiful process of learning to look from detail to detail, from area to area. But I will tell you one thing. Without concept of sight, there is no sight. Even if your visual organ is working well, the brain does most of the work. And that's why the first exercise that we always teach is palming, which is a deep relaxation of the eyes, where you rub your hands and put your hands around your eye orbits and you visualize complete darkness, maybe even blackness. And you breathe deeply, and you count 8 breaths when you inhale and 11 when you exhale. I want you to do it now. Turn the program off. Sit down for 6 minutes and palm. There are many DVDs and CDs that I have of that exercise, but I want you to just do that. Rub your hands, put your hands around your eye orbits, breathe deeply, count 8 when you inhale, and 11 as you exhale. Visualize you seeing darkness, maybe even blackness, and turn this program off for 6 minutes. Now that you came back, I want to talk about another person I worked with, much younger than the first person I spoke with you about, who had a problem with his eyes. I worked with a wonderful 8-year-old with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's the worst muscular dystrophy that exists, where the muscles deteriorate and the person dies very young. One of my clients in the past was peeing dark urine, which is basically his muscles. His wonderful mother brought her daughters and her husband all the way from Alaska to help me work on this wonderful young fellow. And I don't know how many of you remember my previous message when I was talking about a wonderful girl who was born with cataract who improved her vision with me, and that I was able to be a part of her game. This wonderful boy didn't talk to me. I didn't take it personally. He doesn't talk to any stranger. But as soon as I was able to become his toy, and he was able to throw balls at me, and then when I put him in a bathtub and did with him exercises, was able to escort me with his small squirting pistol and wet my shirts to a point that I needed to dry them immediately. At that point, he was completely cooperative with me. What happens in Duchenne is that the muscles accelerate their destruction from day to day. He already came unable to walk more than few steps, and that is on tiptoes, with a back that arches quite a bit, very typical to this kind of muscular dystrophy and several others. So I must say that I was able only partially to lengthen his Achilles tendon with the work I've done with him, shaking his foot. But I was able to get him to walk fair distances in warm water. I'm so lucky that we have a warm pool within 5 minutes drive from our school. And I was able in our hot tub to get him to move his legs. And I was able in the bathtub to get him to mobilize his legs very much. So yesterday I took his family for a trip. And while his sisters had to lift him uphill, he could comfortably walk downhill. So being a part of one's life is the secret of being their therapist, understanding them, being with them. And now, become your own therapist. Ask yourself the question, where can I work on myself? What is the time that I can breathe deeply? Maybe it is when I wait for the bus. I heard something funny. Somebody said to me, I breathe deeply when I fill my car with gasoline. I said, try to change the scene. I don't think gasoline is that good for her. But nevertheless, everybody finds the place to move at your workplace, at your home. Spend a minute here and a minute there taking care of yourself. And the thing that I want to talk to you about is that palming meditation, which is so powerful, where your hands nurture your eyes, but also about breathing. Deep breathing is slow breathing. In and out through your nose. Count 8 in, count 11 out. And feel that your whole upper body is being filled with your air and your energy. Be one with the universe and enjoy your life. Until next week, your good friend, Meir.